So Carlos, huh? Carlos, I've got a joke for you.
Huh?
Carlos, I've got a joke for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to hear a joke?
No.
You sure?
I would love to hear your joke.
Oh, okay. So, once upon a time, there was a teenager named Jack, and Jack, he really liked.
Is this a real story?
It's a joke.
You're saying that jokes can't be real?
I'm sure there's someone named Jack out there. Anyway, so there's a teenager. His name's Jack. And he's got a wee little crush on a girl in his class. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Aw, gee, I think she may like me. Should I go ask her out? Okay, I'll do it." So one day he goes on over and he's like, "Hey there, pretty lady." But he doesn't say there, "Hey there, pretty lady," because he's tripping on his own words and he doesn't know what to do and he's freezing up. Uh-huh. And he's like, and he like looks around and she's like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, and he looks out the window and he looks out there and he sees a bunch of flowers and he sees a bunch of red roses.
A romantic.
And he's in his mind he's like, red roses, that's like love, like that's a thing. So like, and he just needs to say something at this point before it gets any more awkward. So he just blurts out, "Red roses." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Red roses?" She screams bloody murder. Like she freaks out. Like she like bursts into tears. She's having a reaction. Mm-hmm. And the teacher comes over and is like, "What the heck's going on here?" And he's like, "I swear I didn't do anything." And she's laying there just like, "What'd you say?" And he was like, "All I said was red roses." And the teacher's like, "Go to the principal's office right now." And Jack's like, "What the fuck? What did I do wrong? I don't know what I did wrong." So he goes to the principal's office and he's waiting there and he's like replaying it in his head. He's like, "Did I say something? Did it come across weird? Like, what did I do wrong?" Principal calls him in. He's sitting there with the principal. Principal's like, "Hey, things happen. I'm an understanding person. Just tell me your story." So Jack tells his side of the story, and then he comes to the party and he says, "All right, red roses." And he says what he says. And the principal doesn't reply. He goes over to the door, clenches the handle and twists it. It starts open and says, "Get out of my office." And Jack's like, "What the fuck? Why?" And he's just like, and he yells out, the principal yells out to his secretary and says, "Will you notify Jack's parents that he's suspended for the rest of the week and call up one of the drivers and take him home immediately?" Mm. And he's like, "Well, what the heck?
Jack, why would you do that?"
Yeah, Jack, what? So Jack is like so confused and embarrassed. He doesn't know what he did wrong. Mm-hmm. And as he's walking through the school, like all his friends are like pointing and laughing and they're just like, so Jack gets on the bus alone. The driver, they waste all that gas just to take him home, but he's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
So the driver's taking him home, and it's been real quiet. It's just Jack on the bus and the driver's like trying to break the ice. It's just like, "All right, hey kid, what'd you do?"
"What'd you do?"
And the kid's like, "Not falling up for this time." He's lips shut. And so he's just like, "Mm-mm." And the bus driver's like, "Hey kid, I don't know what you did. I don't even necessarily know what you did. But, I was once in your place. I used to swear. I used to beat kids up. I was a troublemaker. I was a real punk." and he's just like, "So anything you say, even though it may seem dramatic or seem like a lot right now, we all get over. We all get better. So, you can be honest with me. I've probably done way worse things than you will ever do." And Jack's like, That's fair. All right. Well, I need a friend right now. I'm real sad.
I'm real sad.
I said the fucking double R word and shit's going down. So he's like, tells his whole story yet again, and is like, "All right, this guy better not fucking freak out." And so he preps and he's just like, "And I said red roses." Bus driver slams on the brakes, opens up the door, literally chucks Jack out of the bus. Closes the door, speeds off, yells "fuck you" as he drives away.
Nice.
Nice.
As bus drivers do.
As they do. Jack walks into the house, and his mom, was informed, and is just like, honey, what happened? Like, they just said you're suspended. They said that, you're going to give me the context. What happened? So Jack is like, all right, they didn't tell her. This is my chance to change my narrative. So he's like, tells this whole story again because, it's all pretty all right up to there. And then when it comes to the point with the words, he says, "Scarlet flowers," because he tries to get around it. And the mom says, "That's it?" The kid's like, "Yeah." Like, weird, right? And he's like, "Yeah." And so they're just like, and the mom's like, "Honey, you're tired. You've had a rough day." The mom sends Jack up to his room to take a nap just to rest his eyes and relax and everything because she can tell that her son's been on edge all day. So she's also kind of like, that's just so weird. We're going to need to contact the school and, have a sit down conversation. But, before you go nap, I'll call. I'm going to call your father. And then we'll wait to do anything, but I think you can relax. I mean, this seems very blown out proportion. I don't know what's wrong with them. So Jack goes up, rests his eyes, and he's woken up hours later by his dad's headlights pulling into the drive. Garage door opens, it closes, the dad comes in, and Jack runs to the door and he listens. He's like, "Oh, hope nothing happens." And at one point, the dad yells, "Jack, can I talk to you for a minute?" Jack's like,
"Oh no,
right,
Papa.
My time to shine." So Jack goes down.
Yes, Papa.
Yes, Papa. Oh boy. Jack goes downstairs, and basically does the same thing that he did with his mom. Tells the whole story, ends it with scarlet flowers. All right, and the dad's also like, "Yeah, this is very confusing. It seems that we'll need to either talk to the administration or change schools, but you seem to be wronged here." And the kid's like, "All right, I'm not totally fucked." And so the dad's like, "All right, well, we're at least going to get your lesson plans. I'll call the secretary and then we'll figure it out and stuff." And so the kid's sitting there, and Jack's just, taking a breather. He's, he's had a rough day, but maybe he's on the up and up. And when the dad is on the phone, he talks to the secretary, and the secretary says the same thing that Jack did, and in referencing of what he did. And Jack hangs up the phone, grabs his son by the shirt, and says, "What the hell did you do?" And Jack's like,
Oh my god.
Jack's freaking out. He's not having a good time. And the dad is losing it and grabs him and says, "You're no longer a part of this family. Get out of my house right now." And Jack's like, "What the fuck?" And the mom's like, "Honey, this is an overreaction. What the fuck?" And then the dad's like, he used the double R word, Jan. And Jan's like, "Whoa!" Kicks him out too. Kids abandoned. Not a part of the family.
Jack's homeless.
Yeah. So 3 years later, Jack sleeps under an overpass, in the city. 6 years later, he's sleeping on a cot in a homeless shelter. 9 years later, he's sleeping in the same bed with the love of his life. And 12 years later, they own a home together. And 15 years later, she's expecting. So he's really turned his life around. He now has a job. He works downtown.
Way to go, Jack.
Way to go, Jack. Way to come on the up and up. So Jack is become a better person. He's left his past behind, and he's walking home from work one day, and he's thinking about how far he's come in life, and then he passes by a garden area and he sees some red roses, and he gets flashbacks to all the terror that happened, and he's like, "You know what? No, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm going to go to my parents' house. I'm going to try and make amends, and I want them to know their future grandchild." And so he goes over, he gets a taxi, he gets dropped off, and he's standing across the street, and he's looking at the house, and he's thinking about all these heavy emotions and everything. Pulls out, a ultrasound picture of the baby. He's like, "I really hope, they're accepting of it." And Jack steps off the curb and goes towards it, and then bam, gets hit by a truck. More of the story: look both ways before crossing the street.
Nice.
that's the joke.
Way to go, Jack.
And that's the worst joke in the world. I would tell that when I was in 5th grade, and then every fucking person is like, what the fuck does red roses mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I learned it from my brother.
I learned it from my brother.
So thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this Patreon exclusive. And yeah, if you want to see this sooner, like these patrons did, you can check out my Patreon in the description down below. Maybe leave a like, leave a comment, all that YouTube garbity goop. And yeah, love you lots. Hi, I'm Andy. You're Dandy. Goodbye.
Can't believe I paid for this.